Hey, welcome to How to Scrum. My name is Safra Zaran, and today I want to show you a video on spikes. Now, I did a video back in October 2020, what are spikes and how to use them in Scrum. So since then, I've had over 1,000 views and some comments from people like you who said, could you do practical examples of spikes? Where would you use spikes? And if you can give practical examples using Jira. So in this video, my aim is to show you how to use spikes using Jira board and what are the outcomes of those spikes. So if you haven't been to this channel before, How to Scrum, check the website. It has all the videos and templates for all things Scrum and Agile project delivery. And there's also a YouTube channel called How to Scrum. So either way, you'll find all the useful information on that. So keep watching and I'll show you how to use Scrum using real life scenarios.
So to illustrate spikes using Jira board, I drew this mind map to show you an overview how I will be using these spikes to illustrate in the real life examples. So here you can have spike in the middle, and again, a spike is a way of finding out about a requirement, about a process, about documentation, something you don't know and you need to find out. So you would use as a Scrum team a spike to go and find out, to explore, or to discover. So first of all, I'll be talking about maybe we can use spikes for dependencies that may exist on your product to be ready, and you may be depending on other products to be ready. So you can use dependency spike to find that out. You can also use spikes for example, proof of concept. So if you don't know what database to use, you can use a proof of concept as a spike and go through a few examples and then come up with the final decision and then do a few stories to incorporate that database into your project. You could also use spikes for example, documentation. You may find that in most cases, which is true, is that you won't find any documentation whatsoever. So you will need to find out if there was any documentation ever, and then what are the changes that you need to add to make it up to date. You can also use spikes to find out the requirements. It wasn't clear. I need more information. So you may use a spike to elaborate on that requirement or use a story. And finally, we can use spikes to do some process creation or enhancement or updates. For example, in the operation readiness, there are always processes to do how to support a particular severity for a product if it fails in production. Also, there might be some service level agreements. So you can use spikes to go and find out what kind of process exists today and what you need to do as part of your product. So I'll be using these kind of scenarios to illustrate the usage of spikes within Jira. So keep watching and we'll go through them using the Jira board next. So here I'm going to show you how to add a spike to your sprint. If you haven't done one before, I'm going to show you how to do that. As you can see here, you can see the backlog, my staging sprint and my sprint one. If you haven't seen my other videos where I explain why you should have a staging sprint, then have a look. But basically, it's a smaller version of backlog that you move tickets into that needs to be refined, and from there you move into your next sprint. So here we have sprint one; it has nothing in there, and you want to add a spike into this sprint. You have one option here to say create issue for this one sprint, or you can click on this one here that says create. So I'm going to click on this one here. When you say create, it gives you a kind of what needs to be done. It has a default story here, but I want to add a spike, and as you can see, there is no spike option. So the way you can open this in a bigger window is to click on these three dots here, and it opens up the bigger window. And again, you can see that I do not have a issue type that is spike, and I'm going to show you how to add a spike if you don't see one. So I'm going to cancel this one here, and you will need to go into your project settings, and then you're going to go into your issue types. And as you can see here, there is no issue type spike available. So if you have admin access, you should be able to say edit issue types. And you can see these are the available issue type that I could add to my existing current schema. So I have spike here. I'm going to move this, drag it across and move it there and say save. So now it is part of my schema. So then I go back to my project. I go back to my backlog. And then I move up to my kind of back top of the backlog again. And I do the same thing again, create an issue. And now I can see spike. I can click on this spike here, or I can open up the bigger window like that. And you can add your first spike. So let's continue adding more spikes into our sprint one. So I've added one spike here. Let's see how to add multiple spikes to add all those that we're going to demonstrate. So again, I'm going to click on here and we're going to select spike. And if I want to make it into bigger, I want to click on these dots and just want to copy. So here we have a spike as our option. So I want to create the summary for them. So just want to copy some of the words, some of the documentation here. So this is going to be for proof of concept. So we're going to copy this one here, like that. And we're going to copy all this information inside that spike, what they need to do. Okay. So again, we have all that information. We're going to leave that as is. I'm just going to say create. So we have a second spike there. Now let's continue adding more. Again, I'm going to click on these dots and I'm going to add some more. So I'm going to add all this as well into this spike. And this is going to be a specification document. So I'll put that here. Now, if you got multiple spikes to add and you don't want to keep saying create, you can click on this icon here, create another. So what happens is it creates the spike, but then it keeps the window open so you can add more. So I'm going to do that now to show you that this is a more efficient way of doing it when you have to add multiple issue types. In this case, I'm adding multiple spikes. So I'll say create. So that gets created. You can see number 63 has been given, but the spike, but the table, the actual window is still there for you to add more information. So if I go back to my notepad and I want to say I want to add this one now, so I'll add this into the description. And I'll take just the top as my summary. And I'll keep the tick there, so because I've got one more to do. So this is 64, as you can see. And then there's a blank window again. So I'll go to my last one here. And this is for the operation readiness. I copy this into my description. And as a summary, I'll say this is that. This is the last one, so I don't need to have this anymore. So I'm going to say create, and that should be the last one. So now you can see you have added all your spikes into your sprint one, and now you will start your sprint one, and everybody who's assigned to these spikes will start working on them and give you update. Next, I want to show you what is the outcome of these spikes? What is the end result once you've done that? So let me show you that next to see what are you supposed to do once you created all the spikes and people have been assigned, and what are they supposed to do on a daily basis as part of their daily stand-up? What are they supposed to tell the team as they move along? So now we have all our spikes in a sprint. So how do you, and the sprint has been started. So now we're going to show you another trick is to say, well, how do you add information to all the issues at one go? It's called bulk update. How do you do bulk update? For example, I want to add a label to all of these spikes to say investigation or something like that. So to do that, you need to select all of them, and then right click and say bulk change. And you want to edit issue because you are editing existing issue with something that you want to add to that. So in this case, I want to go down this huge list of what I want to do. I want to find the word change labels. Add it to existing, that's the best practice because just in case there is an existing label, you don't want to remove that. So add to an existing label, this label that will be added to all of those spikes that don't have a label right now. So to do that, I might say, this is all to do exploration work. That's the label I'm using, exploration. So if I want to add this label, once I've done that, I don't want to change anything else. And make sure this is not selected. Send email for this update. If you are to updating 200 or 300 issues with this feature, bulk change, and if this is ticked, it will send email to everybody on the Jira board times 200. So it's going to be annoying. So try not to do that. And once you finish with that, you just want to say select on that. Next. So it's saying the adding to existing issues. I'll be adding the label called exploration, and these are the ones that it has identified. You can say confirm, and then it starts updating each one of them, and that's done. So you acknowledge that. So now if I was to click on the first one, I should see a label exploration. If I select on this one, I should see the same thing again. So this is how you do adding labels or adding anything basically as a bulk change. This is a really good way of understanding how to do that. So now we have the active sprint with all these spikes in play, and we have people assigned to it with the estimate as well. So this is how I would have my kind of the Jira board set up, so that when we do daily stand-up, we have the swim lanes configured so that it is showing per assignee and not per epic, because you're always going to get epic and then you have multiple people talking. In my other videos, I talk about why it's advantageous to have the swim lanes categorized by assignee. So in this case, we have Qasim. He's got these two tickets, two spikes, and he has taken the first explore dependencies. So this is what he's working on right now, because that's what it indicates. And same with Usman and for Safra as well. So in this case, working on this proof of concept for new database. So what is expected is that on a daily basis, the team is updating each other or highlighting each other with that comment. So you can see that the first comment was requested a new environment to start the proof of concept. So that was the first comment. And the second comment is that the proof of concept is running and the results are amazing. And there will be adding new stories to the backlog to decide to configure the database of choice, which has been proven through the proof of concept. So this is the exploration as part of this ticket number 62. So now I'm going to show you how do you link the new stories, user stories, as a result of this proof of concept. One way is to create a story like that, or if you had this open again, I can clone this. I can clone this ticket and make sure that it kind of follows. So to do the cloning, you just want to click on that and you say clone. And it says that's the title. I'm going to say no. It's not a clone. It's not a proof of concept. I'm just going to say it's a new database. A new database project, and we don't need to spend value. Just say clone. So this is 62 and is cloned to the new issue here. And I go to the new issue, which is now 66. So now this new database for the project is a new ticket, and as you can see, it is a copy of or clone from 62. So these are now linked together, and I can change the description to wherever I want in here and continue using it. It's assigned to me as well. So this is a quick way of linking the spike and what the outcome of the spike was. In this case, if I look at the initial ticket, it was saying that we need to have a proof of concept to find out which database. Through the spike, there was a proof of concept, and the team went through various proof of concept and decided to go with one database. As a result, a new ticket was created, a user story to do the work now, because no more exploration. And from this ticket number 62, it was cloned, and that number is 66, which says now go ahead and create that ticket. Now this ticket is not a spike, so I need to change it. One way to change it is to click on this little icon here and say it's not a spike anymore, it's a story. So I'm going to change that to story now, and not a spike. So this is going to be a story. Someone's going to do it. it's going to be 5 story points. It's not going to be 5. It's going to be 3 story points as per the user who's going to do it, and then you can assign it into sprint 1. So you can assign it to a sprint 1, or maybe you can assign it to HDS sprint 2. So you're going to say this is part of the HDS sprint 2, which is here, feature sprint. So the current sprint, if I close this down now in the backlog, so we have the current sprint, which is sprint 1, and sprint 2 is the new outcome of the spike, which is a new database is going to be done, which is this story here. So this is how you kind of link the spikes into actual stories, and then those stories would be the one that you're actually going to work, and they could be part of the current sprint where the spike is, or it could be part of the future sprint. In this case, the spike was taken care of sprint 1, and this is now sprint 2. I also demonstrated to you how to clone the spike into a user story, and how to change the issue type once you've done that. So this is how spikes are used in real life examples, is that they actually are very useful tools to create and do some exploration. And once the team is definitely sure what they need to do, they create the future stories or tasks, or even more spikes if they need more in time. But they are really excellent tools to do better work before you jump into working on a story like this one here. This is a definitive story now. They know exactly what to do. But before that, they didn't know what to do. They just wanted to do proof of concept. So this is how you would use spikes in real life examples. And from the spikes, you're going to create stories, tasks, documentation, whatever. So this is how you would do that. I hope this was useful. And if you want to see anything else that to make it a bit more clear, please leave a comment and let me know how I can help you with that. Until then, see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like what I create. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, How to Scrum, and also click on the like button. And also visit howtoscrum.com website. Over there, you'll find some great information on courses, on templates, on videos, blog, great wealth of information. And spread the word. If you find this useful, what I create, help your friends to let them know as well. So spread the word. And I look forward to producing more videos. Thank you.